Hey guys, it's Madam Vincent bringing you today a reading of how to develop or hone your psychic skills. So you're going to have 4 piles here today, and I'm just going to get straight into this reading. First pile, we have the the rose quartz. Wonder if red has a specific meaning for you guys. For pile 1, pile 2, you have the raw crystal quartz as well. Pile 3, you have a little book, with the cross on it, and mother of pearl inlay. And then pile 4, we have the lapis lazuli mushroom. So take some time, put pause on the video if you need more time to channel, and we're gonna get right in. Welcome pile 1 if you chose the raw crystal rose quartz. Maybe you guys might have messages in pile 2 also, because this is the second time that I kind of stumble over words and say something different in a sense. But it might be relevant for you guys, so there might be some information in pile 2 for you as well. So for those of you that were deciding between pile 1 and 2, just stick around and watch pile 2 as well. But yeah, let's get started. Pile 1. We'll just put you here in the center. For some of you, maybe you need to center yourself, maybe ground yourself, because center, me mentioning center kind of made me think of maybe you guys need to center yourself and ground. Perhaps there's a need to attune yourself more into developing your psychic skills. Or honing in your psychic skills by allowing yourself to be more attuned with nature and grounding yourself in nature. For some of you, I'm seeing you may like the woods or the forest or even going into hikes, and that's something that you should really definitely explore and exploit as a way of developing and honing in your psychic skills. So let's get to it. Yeah, there's a need for you to explore the world and stop limiting yourself by creating boundaries. Even when you feel tired, especially when you feel tired, you should actually take time to go off and explore the world. I feel like you going off into nature as well as doing like those walks, or what you would call it walking meditation, will greatly help you in coming back into balance with spirit, and also in allowing yourself or opening up your own personal channel into receiving messages, or becoming more psychically in tune by allowing the energies of nature to help kind of wash over you and kind of bring you back into focus. For some of you, you may be going back and forth, or you doubt your abilities. There is a lot of goodness that will come out of your gifts and honing in your gifts, but you need to be able to take that stand. And though it's not easy to develop your gifts, it's definitely worth it. You need to step out of your current situations and what you normally do and get a little bit uncomfortable when it comes to that. So educate yourself a little bit more so that you can see the situation more clearly, whatever it is that may be going on around you as well. So for some of you, I feel like you have that ability to sense things in your vicinity. It could be that you may be what is the word? I can't think of it right now. But basically, you have a good sense. You're good at sensing energies, vibrations, and that type of stuff. And it could also be the reason why sometimes maybe if you're around the city or very dense populated areas, you may feel overwhelmed or take on too much energy from those around you and feel, bombarded with all of that. Or feel like the world is a bit heavy. So you're really being asked to kind of step out, take a break from society, explore the nature, explore the world itself, so that you can bring yourself back into balance. For some of you, you will find, pieces to developing your ability by exploring the world, traveling. If you've wanted to take trips, go out into nature, travel the seas as well, offer yourself those new opportunities and don't limit yourself just because, the hustle and bustle and the stress of everyone else is kind of, contaminating your auric field. So that might be something, the reason why you guys need to be more centered and grounded is you need to clear your auric field as well, so that you can be able to distinguish your thoughts versus the crowd. It'll be a lot easier for you and you won't take on as much, nor will you be as exhausted or as tired, because I feel like some of you may be empaths or highly attuned empaths and you may not even know it, because I feel like I'm a little bit out of breath, but at the same time I see it as a way as like deep sighing. You're taking too much of other people's energies and you may need to kind of create a little barrier for yourself. It's so funny that we have the world here too, because it kind of, there's a bit of a barrier around, golden barrier around the world, and you got everything around surrounding, kind of like bombard, even though the world, it's its thing. But yeah, some of you, I feel like some of you may have Pisces in you or Piscean abilities in you. And that's only because I see kind of like what looks like Pisces here. But at the same time, it's also like, you need to be able to explore all axes of the world itself too. Let's keep going. Yeah, you're not following your better judgment. I feel like there is a doubt, or you have been confused into doubting your better judgment, or have gone against your better judgment. There's a resistance against your better judgment or your inner knowing. You could be a little bit more left-brained, I believe, the logical side, basically. A little bit more analytical, a little bit more logical, a little bit more fact-based versus actually trusting in your own ability and the divine, and then the intuitive thoughts that you get. So that's a point or a center of focus that you may have to work on in order to develop and hone your psychic skills. You are somebody that, if you follow your better judgment, your psychically in tune, intuitive judgment, that is, if you can quiet down enough to listen or feel where you're being drawn, you'll be able to find out the truth in the matter, affecting the balances in your life and in others as well. So that's something to really, pay attention to. There's another thing that there could be fear surrounding your abilities, and I'm being guided to tell you is like not to be afraid, because these abilities and these gifts that you have are going to help you manifest the world around you that you want to see. Something that's going to be fruitful, but also just as well. And I just got a notification right now, so I know I'm on that for you. Yeah, again, you're carrying way too much energy. It could be that you're what I say in Spanish, estás muy cargada or muy cargado. Basically, you're too overcharged with energy, that you need to discharge a lot of energy that you may be carrying that's not even your own, which could make you feel really tired, lethargic, exhausted. For some of you that are sensitive, you have a sensitive nervous system, it could come off as pins and needles or like sharp shooting pains, what feels like hot in your hands and your feet. But I'm focused on seeing mostly like the hands. Could be the hands get really hot and sometimes they get painful, or you may have inflammation as well. So it could be something that you may want to address as well. Yeah, you're being weighed down by too many energies around you. You need to protect yourself energetically and psychically as well. What I would recommend is using, well, it makes sense that you got the raw rose quartz, because this is also, you know, really good for transmuting like negative energies, as well as those that involve self-doubt, and also, you know, providing that extra little hug of love that we need to give ourselves. One thing that you can do to discharge all of that excess energy, something that I like to do, is that I take a crystal, could be in its raw form like this. It's usually best when it's in this raw form, at least for me it is, than when it's already been, you know, shaped into place. Though these work fine as well. And if you want to know what this is a moss agate. This I don't remember. I just, you know, my best friend gave it to me. Thank you for, you know, thanks to her, Dr. Dina. Thanks to Dr. Dina. And for the lovely candle as well that talks about happiness. So I feel like that could be also relevant too. You need to be able to discharge a lot of this energy so that you can uplift your senses. But in order to discharge, for some of you, I recommend taking one raw crystal in one hand and taking something like a selenite. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me grab a little selenite so you can know how I do this thing. So I have these other little baby selenite bars. This is the big old selenite crystal itself. But basically I take one crystal and take another crystal in one hand and the other hand. Let me switch these over. So this hand I'm going to use to discharge everything, and this one is going to use to recharge myself with everything. Selenite itself is a high frequency, high vibrating crystal that does not need to be charged, versus all these other crystals that most of the time do need to be charged. So when you have a positive flowing crystal, one that's high vibrating, that disperses, you know, negative energies and stuff like that very quickly, as well as refreshing your own, you can take this one crystal to refresh your natural energy into a higher state, and then the other crystal to absorb the energy, and now you're discharging. You'll be able to feel the difference in the stones by holding them together. You can also do this by holding, and this is also really good for your system as well, your nervous system, and kind of doing a systemic reset in a sense, by taking a pure copper rod and a zinc, and then holding them one in one hand and one in the other hand, and it should allow you to release and discharge a lot of that energy, as well as bring you back into that center as well. Again, if you don't have crystals like this, you can always just go off into nature and ground yourself. Put your feet on the ground and make sure that you are making contact with the soil and the earth itself, because that's going to help you discharge a lot of that energy. For I feel like a lot of you guys carry a lot of that, and most of the time you feel very, very tired because you're hanging on to, you're basically like a sponge. You're absorbing a lot more than sometimes you can sustain in your own body, and that can affect you negatively. It could be that you've been dealing with this for quite some time, and it's, you know, kind of taken a little bit of its toll negatively on your system. But now is the time to stop, you know, going against your better judgment, and actually, you know, start listening to what you're being guided to. Start listening to where your spirit, your soul has been guiding you. So let's see what else. Yeah. There is a lack of you not wanting to go within, being surrounded by people all the time. You need to take a break. You need to finally decide whether or not you're going to actually, you know, put yourself first. Stop deceiving yourself. You need to summon up that strength and stop resisting, because this was like this. Stop resisting leaving situations that are no longer serving you as well. So this could also be perhaps you're around certain people and certain situations or certain environments that are not good for you, that actually drain your cups. They drain you of your happiness, they exhaust you, and they keep you in a low vibrational state. So it prevents you from actually turning around and seeing that there's so much more beauty in the world than what is in front of your eyes. Should you turn around and actually walk away and take the steps necessary to finally do what's right under the circumstances, you know, make the decisions, those hard decisions that can only be done because of the circumstance, and stop going against your better judgment. You need to stop doubting yourself and your abilities. So a lot of it also has to do, which is relevant to the pink quartz, self-love, self-trust, self-honoring. You need to be able to honor yourself. You need to be able to honor your for some of you, I hear your beliefs. Some of you, you need to honor your heart and where it's leading you, because it's a rose quartz. The rose quartz is attuned to the heart as well, and all that has to do with self-love as well, and honoring oneself too. So yeah, pretty much. Some of you are being asked to work with crystals, which will help you, particularly rose quartz and selenite, and maybe even a moss agate, because the moss agate is also really good for transmuting pain and emotional instabilities and that type of stuff. Which moss agates, if you ever see a moss agate in light, they're so beautiful as well. But you do need to stop deceiving yourself. You need to stop going against your better judgment, because a lot of this is conflicting with your hopes and your plans. Your greatest wishes that you wish to accomplish are on the other side of this. Literally, they're on the other side. This is where you're at now. This is where the structure and stability, or whatever foundation was in the past, is no longer serving you. It's time for you to get over the water, over the bridge, let it go, and just turn around so that you can actually reap the reward of what is truly being offered. And in that also, I feel like some of you may end up coming into this divine union within yourself. Not only that, but you may also meet somebody along the way that may either serve as a mentor or be a very important partnership along the way. But you do need to defend yourself and what you believe. Stand up for what you believe. You know, you're on top of this situation, but you need to stop deceiving yourself. You need to summon the courage and move ahead, charge forward, even when the world feels heavy, because you're almost at the end of the situation here, with releasing all these burdens and, you know, being weighed down by other people's problems, let alone your own. It's time for change. It's time for new beginnings as well. So that's pretty much it. Pile 1. It's pretty straightforward, actually. So others of you, I recommend with the divine justice here. It's so funny that I said divine justice. Some of you are going through karmic cycles and loops as well, that you're just finding out that are affecting matters and situations, or coming into the realizations or epiphanies of how certain things, even ancestral ties, have affected you in your life up until this day as well. With justice and judgment here, it's like you need to stop, slow yourself down, release the burdens that are around you, especially things that are no longer serving you. For some of you, I hear you need to forgive yourself as well. And for others of you, you need to take the time to reflect and reflect on the things that really matter. That really matter. For some of you, I get that maybe you'll be dealing with maybe rumors or situations that cause you to doubt yourself or doubt the situation. But if you quiet down the mind enough and you listen to what the heart and the soul have to offer, you have your guiding light. You don't need anyone else to guide you, because Spirit will guide you. Spirit will give you the call. If you haven't heard the call, or you haven't been drawn, you're going to be drawn more to like spiritual stuff, spirituality, healing, and self-healing most of all, which is very much representative of the rose quartz, which, you know, it's very straightforward of self-healing, self-love, honoring thyself, as well as attracting more love. So I feel like some of you need a lot of love too. You guys have been through it, and I know it's hard because I've been there myself. So sending you a big, tight, you know, squishy psychic hug, you know, best of emotions for you guys. You'll be able to surpass all of this. Yeah, you need to rest. You're going against a lot of, you know, what you're going against a lot of your better judgment, you know. I heard rest before Spirit makes you rest, and trust me, you don't want to do that. You don't want to go through that. I've been through something like that. It's not fun. It's not fun, believe me. So yes, you need to be able to begin again and come into union with yourself. And again, like I said, you know, with the Lovers cards here, once you give yourself that breathing room, that breathing space, or if you have been resting, for some of you, you're coming out of the situation, whatever it was, that union is right here. Should you turn around and look at it, the ability to manifest it and to actually develop your skills, they're there. You just need to have more confidence and more inner strength to confront yourself and other people. You need to defend yourself and your beliefs as well. It's time for those big changes. Time for new beginnings. Time to cut away the old, the things that have been lost that no longer serve you. It's time to lay the past to rest for some of you and start something new, which will lead you into an even greater, deeper self-development, development of your psychic skills, and a lot more happiness and more, you'll feel like you're more on the right path. But yeah, that's pretty much it for you, Pile 1. If you like this reading, please like, share, and subscribe. Please check out my shop, Destavia's Design. Sorry that I've been lagging it a little bit to pop up with this reading, but I've been doing quite a bit of stuff and trying to do charity stuff, and you know, I got my whole life going on too, just like you know, brothers and sisters, all under the same roof that we call, you know, our Mother Earth home. So, sending you a big, tight, supportive hug, and wish you the best, Pile 1. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hello, Pile 2. If you chose the raw crystal quartz, this is your reading. Let's hop right into it to see how we can develop and hone in your psychic skills. And I just want to tell you guys, sorry for lagging it a bit, because, you know, to come out with this video, I've been working a lot and trying to do charity stuff and really working on something big, because I've been divinely charged with God's plan. or Spirit's plan. And it's a pretty big one. I'm not gonna lie, it scares me a bit. It makes me very nervous, but I have to, I have to obey. I have to do what I'm being, led to do, because I truly want to see the changes in the world that I want to see. And that also involves helping a lot of people. So, for some of you, maybe being of service might be something that will help you open up your ability to develop and hone in skills. For some of you, your psychic skills or abilities will be activated or more in tune the more of service you are to others and humanity as well. And not just humanity, the earth and animals as well, the plant, nature, fauna, flora and fauna alike. So let's get to it. Pile 2. Spirit. How can Pile 2 develop or hone in their psychic skills or abilities? For some of you, you need to get out of your logical mind. Stop being driven so much by passions. The ego. And I just got a notification right now. So the ego. You need to work on the ego. Letting go of me first. And I'm not saying don't put yourself first, because the best way sometimes we can serve and help humanity is first by helping ourselves and healing ourselves, so as we may provide an example, the blueprint for others to then in turn follow. So in turn, by you helping yourself and trailblazing the path for others, you help heal the world. In that way, you help others find their own true path and their own way. For some of you, you may be claircognizant. So you may know things before you know things, or have that instinctual, what I call the instinctual GPS system built in, and you may not even know that it's there. But being stuck in the ego mind, or what I call fear go, which is a combination of fear and ego blended into one, will severely prevent you from moving forward. It could be that, sometimes may you come off as cold, abrasive, sometimes, a bit demanding, but you can also be restless, outspoken, and ambitious. There is nothing wrong with being outspoken or ambitious, so as long as it's in a divine balance within yourself as well too. If it's too much in the physical realm, it becomes more of an ego and a fear thing. So you're being guided to do some shadow work and heal those parts that are more controlled by the reptilian brain or by the materialistic brain, the impulse, nature impulse, basically the carnal self. Be asked to think deeper and go in deeper as well, because you have powerful abilities that can be used either for good or bad. And whatever path you choose to choose, there is also as there is so above, so is there below. So you're not free of the consequences of your actions. So choose wisely what path you travel down. And that goes double for those of you that are being asked to do that shadow work and to heal the parts of yourself, especially those stemming from your childhood that were caused by other people around you because they themselves were not healed. Hurt people will always hurt people, and healed people will get hurt, but they will understand and they will heal, and they will have more compassion for those who have not healed themselves, but also have the perspective and understanding that just as you are, they are also traveling their divine path, and they too must heal. And the best way to do that is by providing an example for them as well. Some of you can come off as very wise, or others see you as wise as well, or having knowledge within you, just brimming beneath the surface as well. Yeah, some of you are refusing to go within. Yeah, see, refusing. Wouldn't even let me grab the card, dang it. Refusing to go through that awakening process because of that logical mind, the impulse mind. And there's kind of like a battle back and forth between, this side of your brain and this side of your brain, the mind and the spirit. The body and the spirit, the body and the mind and the body, the spirit and the body and the spirit, etc. It goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it could be that you go back and forth, 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 back and forth. And it's causing you a lot of emotional, mental distress for some of you. It's really taking you out of your power. And another thing is that when you keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, you create a lot of stagnation and a lot of, resistance into being in your power. And this also affects your foundations. It affects your money as well for some of you. Be careful not to charge into things without, or doing things impulsively again, as we're being shown here with the Knight of Swords. Some of you may be quick to act and then question why you did things. That would be the reptilian mind, or the impulse, the carnal body mind. You're being asked to elevate your frequency and where you are as well. It's time for you to end the cycles that are holding you back, because you truly have the world in the palm of your hands. Should you choose to actually choose the right path, the higher path. All of this going back and forth has really put a strain on your finances, your luck. Your money has probably been constricted, but you will have the opportunity to open up, new opportunities for yourself and balance out, create a more stable condition as well when it comes to the rest of your life. But you do need to overcome and supersede these things that are holding you back. Yeah, so that you can come into union with your higher self, and also be able to have a happy home within you. You are your one true home. If you are always in turmoil within, your home will never be a pleasant one. No matter where you go, externally, everywhere is going to reflect the internal world that you live in. You are your home. The world outside of you is hard enough. It's time to allow yourself and to create yourself that safe space, or that sacred space within, to really foster the world that you want to live in externally as well. Because the external will always reflect your internal. And if you're going back and forth all the time, fighting your better judgment as well, and not listening to your what you're being guided, your intuition, your intuitive feelings that you get, you may get those as impulses as well, but you need to distinguish whether those are your carnal impulses or materials, basically like very superficial impulses versus the things that truly matter. There's always going to be turmoil until you're able to overcome those things, and you're going to be asked to charge into transmuting, charge into that spiritual awakening, so that you can come back into power and really set yourself right in the world, and create the opportunities and the structures, the friendships, and have the finances that you wish, as well as have celebrations too. For some of you, you may find being out like in the countryside pleasant or helpful to that, or when you feel most connected to yourself as well. I heard yeehaw. For some of you, you may be country folk, and you may be asked to go back to your roots of the things that used to make you happy as a kid, or even things that you used to like doing, because this back and forth is not allowing you to rest. You're keeping yourself restless here. And if you don't get a grip of your internal world, you're going to be forced to rest. And that is not pretty. Usually when you're forced to rest, versus you actually taking a rest so that you can continue the marathon, because it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Life is a marathon, it's not a sprint. If you don't know how to take rest in between on your, on this journey we call life, you're gonna get severely burnt out. And those times that you do get burnt out can lead you to getting sick, being bedridden, hospital stays, that type of stuff. So you really have the option there. In a sense, it's like you hold the reins for your life as well. And that also includes developing your psychic skills. You have the skills and the abilities. Should you choose to learn to develop them, should you choose to listen and hear what those things are, or in a sense for you, feel what they are. Put yourself into balance within yourself so that you can feel the right way. You can feel your way through the darkness that is life sometimes, because sometimes we're just being asked to go through life even though we do not know where we're going or things seem uncertain. You're being asked to walk by faith. And the most of all, it's mostly a test to see whether if you have trust in yourself, if you have faith in yourself to accomplish things as well. That's one of your divine karmic tests, a karmic cycle that you need to overcome as well. Are you going to choose the lesser or the higher? Are you going to stay in a low vibration or frequency and do the terrible, crappy, shitty things that some other people may do, or surround yourself with that kind of energy, or the hoodlum here, the hoodlum there, this and this and that? Or are you going to try to elevate yourself? See how you can reconnect yourself in the world to bring about something different, to create the world that you want to see as well, and offer stability to not only yourself and have that strength within, but also be the example for others to follow right behind your footsteps. You may not even see it, but you could be a mentor for others. And you may not even credit yourself with that, but you are setting the example for others to follow, should you choose to lead. Doing so will allow you to come into union with your abilities and your powers and open a whole new channel, a peace of mind, the joining of both the carnal and the spirit. I feel like for some of you, it may be a tantric sort of thing, or have that kundalini rising within you, which the kundalini rising is pretty much when you become so not imbalanced, so much in balance with yourself that you begin to see things and operate from a higher perspective and understand and have more compassion for not only yourself, but others in the world as to why the world for other people is falling apart. Why the world is going to heck sometimes, you know? And how you can bridge one to the other. How you can show them that they can cross the bridge from here to here. Enough said. Pretty much enough said. But you need to finalize that decision. You need to stop going back and forth so that you can really create peace and harmony within yourself. For me doing this, I heard wipe the slate clean. It's time for you to wipe the slate clean. You need to take the blindfold off and reassess things for what they really are so that you can make a better judgment call as well. It's so funny. Toot toot. Toot 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 toot. You can go back over there. Yep. So, yeah, you need to take the blindfold off because this going back and forth, creating stagnation, you not healing, is blocking a lot of your finances, your money, your proper stability, and having, you know, overall, I guess in a sense, like financial, emotional, spiritual freedom within yourself has a lot to do with balance. And look, we have 3 2s here. 2, 2, 2, 2. You got all the 2s. There's one more 2 somewhere, but whatever. The point is you got 2, 2, 2 here, and then 2, 2, 2, 2. So 2, 2, 2. Number synchronicities. Look for numerical synchronicities in numbers, license plates, billboards, anything that you come across, and look at those things. Certain numbers will stand out. Some may repeat themselves. That's kind of how you will also have that ability to kind of raise your frequency and your vibration, because you will begin to intuitively pick up claircognizance, know things before you know things, or you may be inclined to, you see something, you're like, oh, that's relevant to me, or I wonder what that means. You're being asked to follow that intuitive thought because you're being drawn to what you already know and what you must know and what you must do in order to develop. A lot of it will do, there's duality. You have a very dual nature for some of you, that there's a lot of back and forth, or your mental and your emotional may duke it out all the time, but you're being asked to balance that. Because it really is tying into your finances, being in your power when it comes to your finances, and being a powerful financial leader as well for some of you. Yeah. A lot of that comes to what back to what I had said, which is fear. Fear and ego, frustrations, and letting go of emotions. Some of you need to stop suppressing your feelings and your emotions and the intuitive nudges that you get. So it goes back to doing the work, shadow work. Think of what really belongs to you spiritually, emotionally, mentally. Figure out who you are. The best piece of advice that I can give you and that Spirit can give you is to know thyself. Once you know thyself, you shall be able to unlock all of your abilities and become that strong spiritual leader that you're being asked to become that mentor that you're asked to become. Even if you don't know it, you're trailblazing behind you. You may not notice, but you are serving as a role model for other people. You may have even children that may admire you, and you may not know it. People that have a secret admiration for you and have noticed how far you've come. So keep going. Let go of that fear, because that fear is only going to cause frustrations and get in the way of peace and harmony. It's time to take the blindfold off and really assess the situation at hand, so that you can advance and come into spiritual union with yourself. But that's going to take work and internal work for yourself. And I know that you can do it because you're strong. We're all capable of it. But you particularly are very strong, and you have been given such a wonderful task to help others and be of service to others, just by simply being you and healing yourself. There's sometimes the most and the best thing you can offer to another is the example that they too can be the difference they're looking for. Alright, that's all I have for you today. Pile 2 is pretty straightforward. So shadow work, shadow work, shadow work. Okay? Know thyself. Know who you are and who you are not. It is very important. Know who you are and know who you are not. And cut away the trivial things that don't belong to you, so that you can foster peace and harmony in your own life and shift into the reality that you wish to be in, and show others how they too can in turn do the same. That is your gift. That is your psychic skill and ability. Alright, well, if you like this reading, like, share, subscribe, check out my website, Just Davis Designs. If you guys want a personal reading, please book there. But yeah, sending you lots of love and a really big squishy hug. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, Pile 2. Also, Pile 2, I forgot to mention, it's interesting that you would pick the crystal quartz, because crystal quartz itself cannot be worn by everyone. Well, it can, but I wouldn't recommend it. The reason being is because crystal quartz itself is one of those crystals that can do no harm, but should you try to use it to do harm, it can severely backfire on you. It's also one of those crystals that vibrates pretty high, that if your intentions are not set right or not set well, say you haven't healed yourself enough, it can force you to heal in the most unpleasant of ways. So some of you are being called to work with that crystal, especially if you have a hard time addressing the situations yourself. This crystal itself will kind of force you to address the situation, and you just have to know and trust that you will make the right decision. Another thing is, others of you need to hydrate a lot more, because I keep getting to drink water and I am like extremely thirsty now. So some of you need to really hydrate yourselves and clear your energy, clear yourself. Yeah, hydrate yourself. Maybe even go to the beach, refresh that energy, walk on the sand, and maybe dip your toes in the water, your feet in the water. That will definitely help you as well too. All right. See you next time, Pile 2. Oh, Pile 3. This is your reading if you chose this little Bible-looking book with the mother of pearl inlay in it. Maybe you like pearls. Maybe the pearl itself might have a lesson to teach for you. So For those of you that it catches your eye and your attention, I would look into the meaning of mother of pearl. Or abalone for a few of you. Especially those of you that are naturally drawn to abalone itself, or abalone shells. This is going to help develop you as well. It could be that the abalone and the colors of the abalone or the mother of pearl itself will help you unlock. For some of you, color therapy or working with colors will be significant as well. For some of you, you already have a pretty aura in a sense. Others, you're developing your aura into this beautiful iridescence that's here. And then what's interesting too is that this is actually a little prayer book. And some of you, you may be drawn to the Bible, you may be Catholic or Christian, or even if you're not Catholic or Christian, it could be that you may just have a strong spiritual sense yourself. But this here has the Lord's Prayer. So I'm going to read it to you briefly. It says, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day, give us our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. So, yeah. For some of you, you may be drawn to spiritual texts as well. Or getting that higher knowledge, divine knowledge, or finding truth when it comes to spiritual texts and books. Excuse me. Oh, well, I know that was right. But yes, let's get right into it. So, for some of you, you may go into self-teaching and learning further through self-education as well. Some of you may even opt to go to something like a church, if not a church, a temple of some kind. Basically anywhere that you can congregate, study, or learn. Even if you do your own independent studies. For some of you, I heard independent Bible studies. Although the Bible is not necessary. It could be independent studies of whatever spiritual religious text, so that you may pick up wisdom and information through that as well. And for others of you, to me, this also symbolizes the Akashic records, you know, the book or your personal book of life of every single lifetime you've lived before this one, and what you need to learn. And unlocking your abilities and your gifts will be by you unraveling all of those come on, Spirit, what am I trying to say? Unraveling all of those spiritual knowledges and finding the truth that you need to. Because there's not everything will apply to you, but the things that will certainly stand out to you are going to be the keys to help you develop your psychic abilities. For some of you, I heard the keys of Solomon. Some of you may be attracted to Psalms, you know, the book of Psalms, and others, Old Testaments. And I don't mean just the Bible, but it could also be that you may be interested into like the Quran, you know, ancient Aramaic texts, and so on and so forth. So let's get to it. Pile 3, Spirit, what does pile 3 need? Or what can they do to develop and hone in their psychic skills and abilities? Some of you are refusing to let go of some pain or something in the past. You know, it could be you could even be refusing to accept what you know inside you should do. So there's like a refusal to look within, a refusal to dig deeper, and going against your better judgment. It could be that you may be holding on to things of the past that hurt you, or may still be hurting you to this day. And for some of you, I hear that you need to offer yourself forgiveness for all the things that you wish to be absolved from as well, because you need to be able to be compassionate with yourself at most. We're not perfect. No one is perfect. So why should you come down so hard on yourself, so abrasively on yourself, in such a way that it can sabotage you in the future and sabotage your abilities as well? You need to start listening to your better judgment. There's a recurring theme of people either doubting or refusing to look within, dig deeper, but it is a very crucial and necessary thing to do, because if you never look at the problem, how will you ever know there's a problem there? If you never address the problem, how can you have a good outcome or solution? There is the ugly truth, but the truth will always and forever be the truth. And there's the truth, 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 and there's the truth. Some of you are being asked to take that deep look within to really find out what is affecting your internal balance. What is your problem, basically? Whether it's with yourself, with spirit, but for some of you, I hear that it's with spirit, you know, like kind of feeling, I guess in a sense, some of you may even have like a bit of anger or as to why something happened, or as to why the way things play out, or as to this or this or that. Those things are being asked for you to hash it out with, you know, the realms above. Offer that to the realms above instead of just letting it harbor within you and stay within you. It's time for you to let the swords fall out and let go of the heavy burdens that you were once holding on to, or still are, for those of you that are refusing to change. Give those things up, especially the things that you cannot change, the things that are out of your control, things that you cannot directly change yourself. Offer those things up to spirit. Offer those things up to God, or whoever it is that you pray, worship, or believe in, so that you can have that ability to release yourself. You need to do some soul searching, especially if you've been feeling left out or lonely or really detached from, you know, everyone around you in the world, and including yourself. For some of you, you need to prevent yourself from disassociating as well. You need to charge forward into understanding thyself, because there is a lot that has to do with secluding. Well, not so much secluding, but kind of either you isolate, or there is a need to isolate so that you can get down to the root of the problem that is affecting you, and what's kind of holding you back from developing your abilities here. And you're able to be very fair and make very fair judgment calls as well. But you need to look at all the options and opportunities that you have, and make a clear, concise choice And if you don't know what the choice is, you're being asked to trust and to offer it up to the realms above, offer it up to God, because only God will be able to handle those things for you, handle the things that you cannot handle yourself. Stop trying to do everything by yourself, is what I hear too. You're being asked to lean on the realms above, or to lean on your spiritual, spiritual teachers or spiritual mentors. But also remember to retain your internal counsel as well. Take the bits and pieces of information that you're given, or even listen to or hear from other sources, or just things that stand out. It could be motivational quotes, it could be certain things, but look at everything and choose the one that seems the most at peace, the brightest, the one that offers you the most peace within your heart, within your soul. For some of you, I feel like you may see things. For some of you may have visions. For others, you may see what I call sparkles, which are just high frequency energy spirit beings that have made themselves present in your area. Especially I notice that, look, for me, sometimes I see them more when I'm around certain areas, and there's other times where I go through heavy situations and heavy processes. Like, for example, when I was close to passing away a few years back, I was seeing a lot of sparkles, and I know it was just my ancestors and spirits, making itself known that, hey, we're here. We haven't forgotten about you. We're here to offer you the support when you don't have the support. But you need to learn to lean on us so that we may be able to offer you the help that you need. But we cannot do anything for you if you don't come and seek us out. If you don't tell us what you need, if you don't offer your problems up to us and trust that we will handle those things for you in due time, and having that trust to charge forth through the pains, through everything that has hurt you in the past, to transform all those things and look at all your options, because not everything that you're offered is for you, and not everything that glitters is gold. But should you take the right offer and invest in yourself, which is what I'm hearing for most of you, is improvement. You will come into emotional fulfillment with yourself, or being pleased, that you will start to see the world around you change as well. Yeah, there's victory here. But you need to step out of, you need to break away from the stagnation and the lack of motivation, the lack of wanting to do things. For some of you, you're dealing with a depression that you need to kind of get out of, and let go of the heaviness that surrounds you, because Spirit knows the heaviness of your heart, and you need to offer that up. Don't carry more than you should, because it's only going to weigh you down, and it's only going to prevent you from feeling fulfilled, feeling victorious. You will have good news. You will come into this knowing, and it could be that right now you're transforming. You're going into a transformation. For some of you, the pile before, pile 2 may be relevant, because there is a need for transformation. Some of you are coming out of that, which is the shadow work that was needed. And in seeing that, how all of these things are affecting your life, your situation, and listening to that, feeling where you're being guided to. For some of you, I feel like spirit talks to you, but you refuse to listen. Or you refuse to see the signs. You refuse to accept the presence of spirit or God in your divine realm, in your world, in your personal universe. And it could be that you're kind of like, I don't like the situation, and oh, woe is me, and ish out of luck, but really it's a perspective change. I feel like your perspective needs to change in order for you to be able to fully hone in and also become more victorious, instead of being like this person that's kind of like, ugh, I'm bored with life, nothing excites me, blah, versus someone that's making it through life, on their high horse, celebrated, being recognized by others, being, victorious, and having all the goodness that is meant for you as well. Yep. You have fulfillment coming in. You have fulfillment coming in. It's just as soon as you choose to let go of the heaviness, you need to lean on spirit. For some of you, you're being asked to lean on spirit. And it's so funny because I kind of had the feeling before I even start this reading, well, all of the readings, that for some of you, I felt like you're being asked more to directly work with the Most High energy. And, for some of you, you may have that disconnection or that hard time connecting with spirit because you feel like, well, I don't feel like anything's really hearing me, because you may be stuck in a logical mindset, but everything's always listening. Your body's always listening. Your spirit's always listening. For example, there is a study or like an experiment that was done on plants. Like, I don't remember what it's called, but I want to say maybe the experiment took place in Japan or something, where kids took turns saying mean things to a plant that was inside of a glass case, and mean things. In another case, there was another plant where they would say really nice things to it. And the plant that was only, speaking or being spoken negatively to, obviously took a turn for the negative. The plant, wilted and withered, almost to the point, what it physically did change, where their whole environment for itself just became very depleted and very sad. The plant looked very sad, depressed. And then the other plant, where the students were saying, oh, nice things, like, oh, you're a beautiful plant, you're amazing, keep growing. The plant itself grew way big. It looked way more vital, way more stronger. So I feel like maybe for some of you, it has to do with negative self-talk as well, but also being able to offer up the things that you can no longer hold within you, or the things from the past that once hurt you, the betrayals, all that heaviness needs to go. And I feel like some of you could be that you may not even know how to get rid of it, but the only way that you can is, some of you may need to kind of take a moment to sit or reflect and just offer those things up. It could be through a prayer, pray. And I don't mean like, people, when I say pray, sometimes people think, oh, you got to sit there and be like, blah, 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 recite this, recite that, and blah, 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 pray here like that. No. Prayer is something very personal. Every person is going to pray very differently. And how you pray to spirit is going to be very personal between you and spirit. Whether it's you crying, shouting, screaming into your pillow and telling God or Spirit to take all the heaviness and all the things that you can't hold, or the things that you can't deal with anymore, and telling Spirit, I offer these things to you. Please take them from my life. Take them from my spirit. Take them from my soul. Remove these heavy bound energies from my body so that I may be free, so that I may see the true beauty of the world that we live in as well. Help me end these cycles and help me gain the strength to charge through with new light and passion for life, balance, creativity, happiness, and for the good to enter my life. I offer you the things that no longer serve me, to clear the way for all the wonderful things to enter into my life. So, pile 3. Some of you are really being asked to have faith. And some of you will develop and hone in your skills through faith, and developing not only faith in spirit, but mostly faith in yourself, that you can and you will supersede and surpass all the things that once held you down. And in turn, that will feed your soul. That will give you fulfillment. That will release the heartaches, the deceptions, the betrayals, the heaviness. You'll start to see the opportunities manifest for themselves, and you will be that much wiser to make the right decision. You're being offered something that you may not even want, something that you may be unpleasant in dealing with, but Spirit is here to say that these things are not happening to you, rather they're happening for you. You're being prepared to receive something big. So you're being asked to align yourself and have faith, trust in the divine, and place your trust in the divine even when things seem hard, even when you have no other choices, no other options that you feel are at your disposal. You need to be able to allow yourself to give, and also, you have to, receive just as much as you give, because you could be giving more than you are receiving. And from now, it's like you need to give up those things that once hurt you, and let God, let Spirit handle those things for you, so that you can receive. And you can allow the universe to close out the cycles of before. You learned your lessons, and now you're closing those things out. If you were once below, now you shall be above. For those of you that refuse to do so, if you've been above, you will be below. But it is only cyclical. It is a pattern that must be broken. For some of you, you're breaking ancestral chains. You're breaking and you're dealing with all this heaviness that is in your soul. And sometimes you may even cry and not even know why. And it is because there's certain things that you're transmuting and letting go of that maybe your ancestors before could not handle or deal with, that you are being charged with to handle yourself. So, pile 3. It's time for you to start leaning more on Spirit so that you can develop and hone your psychic skills, and lean on yourself. Have faith in yourself. Believe in yourself. Because everything you put your heart, your mind, and your soul into can and will manifest for the highest good. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have for you today, pile 3. If you enjoy this reading, please hit like, share, subscribe. If you want a personal reading, please feel free to book me and check out my store. In due time, I will be offering some really special and neat crystal jewelries that will also help transmute energies as well as refresh your own energies. But stay tuned for that. I post a lot about that stuff on my Instagrams, mostly my personal Instagram, and then I update my shop every so often, but it's mostly like my Madam Vincent Instagram, VINDESTA, that you'll be able to see the stuff that I've got working on, as well as a lot of spiritual knowledge, a lot of really eye-opening stuff that I share with all of my viewers. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. I'm sending you lots of love and a really great big hug, pile 3. Toodaloo. Hello, pile 4. This is your reading if you chose the lapis lazuli mushroom. Why do I feel like some of you like to partake in special medicines? Or special medicines might also be important for you. Nature-based medicines, holistics, which is always good stuff. The more natural we can get, chef's kiss to the beautiful creations of our divine world, divine spirit, and our divine self as well. For some of you, I feel like maybe you're being drawn to certain things like psilocybin, cannabinoids, that type of stuff. You do whatever you do on your own terms, that's all on you. But please make sure you do things safely. For some of you, you may have Native American ties or very deep ancestral ties when it comes to natural medicines and the lessons that nature-based medicines have to teach us. So let's get into your reading, pile 4. Okay, I guess. Why do I got so many logical people up in here? Well, you are looking to open up your intuitive mind, intuitive side, So yes, I could see why a lot of you guys are coming up or having a lot of that King of Swords energy, which is the logical, analytical, straight, cutthroat, like type of, facts type of thing going on here. All right, spirit. Okay. All right. So, okay, so pile 4. You're being asked to analyze the world around you, because a lot of things, it could be that you've dealt with a lot of betrayal, deceptions, and maybe placing your trust too much in other people or situations that turned out to not be in your favor, and being taken advantage of as well, or feeling like you were maybe even robbed of opportunities in the past. But these are things that, are holding you in bondage. And it's interesting because if you do partake in something like a psilocybin, those things, or if you have recently, It could be that that was the epiphany that you came across, that you're being held down by the negative perspective of others around you, and kind of absorb those things into yourself, which has caused you a lot of wounding, and you're being asked to take a step out of the situation. So step out of your own comfort zone, step out of your box that you're normally in, so that you can clearly see things. So some of you could see spirits, you could see or have visions as well. For some of you could hear things as well, or vice versa, one or the other, or all. Through this situation has helped you gain that deeper insight and knowledge, and the one thing that is being reinforced here is that perspective change. You're getting stronger in oneself, and I feel like some of you have already started listening to yourselves, which is good, which also makes sense. The lapis lazuli is a stone that is more psychically charged, more in tune with developing and honing in your skills and abilities. So I feel like some of you have already started this path, especially with the little mushroom. The mushroom itself, the healing medicine, or the medicine mushroom, that comes with medicines or magic mushrooms, cybocillins or whatever, is the one of self. In my own personal experience, cybocillin has helped me be more aware, and that's something that could be helping you too, or you're developing that awareness, that psychic awareness, that not everything that surrounds you is actually you. So understanding and differentiating between what is you, what is not you, and the things that are keeping you bound. Having that deep insight and receiving those inner knowledge or intuitive hits that are really changing your perspective of how you see the world around you, and how maybe in the past, or for some of you that are just starting to realize this, how you have kept yourself in bondage by the lack of doing work for yourself and staying stuck in memories of the past, or the nostalgia of the past as well. Not allowing yourself the opportunity to have a happy, or some of you came from a situation or a background where it was very negative. And the perspective that's changing is that now you have the ability to change all of those things, because you hold the power in your hands. You carry the sword of truth. You will demand the respect that you deserve, that others may have not given you, or have convinced you that they had for you, only to show that it was deceit, and in turn you suffered betrayals, losses, and other heavy things. But all those things served a purpose to make you stronger. You were being forged in the fire so that you can have that inner strength within yourself, and the strength to confront not only your own self, but also the world around you. Confront those, and stand up for what you really believe in as well. So I feel like you guys are on the right path when it comes to developing your skills. Right now you're kind of going through maybe even the epiphanies or the revelations of oneself, which is always really, really important. It's so funny that I had the need to touch upon my knife over here. It could be that you're cutting away the trivial things of life that aren't worth keeping around, ties that are not worth keeping around, situations. You're letting go of people, letting go of things that once kept you bound and gagged, frustrations, and really looking to set your own path and make your hopes and dreams come true. And then another thing about this is that my knife has wolves on it. And wolves, they're very significant when it comes to like the spiritual self as well. Some of you could be that you find yourself being a lone wolf or becoming a lone wolf in order to gain spiritual insight and knowledge, but needing the courage and the strength to walk away from all those trivial things, or using that as your way to escalate yourself in that as well. There's a need to let go of those things, yeah. Yeah, ending situations and hurts, things from the past, betrayals that, were not serving you. Cycles of your own that were not serving you as well. Unraveling the things that once used to hurt you and understanding why they did what they did. And, not understanding why they did as in terms of people, or understanding the knowledge that can be found beneath the pain. For some of you, pain has been your best teacher. I can feel that too, because I'm one of those people that pain has been one of my best teachers to understanding the world and having more compassion as well for others. Not saying that everything I went through was fair or it felt the greatest, because believe me, it didn't. And I went through a lot of hell and high water to get to where I am today. To have that spiritual resolve within myself that I'm pretty sure it is you're trying to develop too. If not, you're forging yourself, have been forged by the fire, and strengthened. You will be receiving like important news, intuitive hits, nudges, and being it could be that it could come through you having the sudden urge or the impulse to follow certain passions, things from your childhood that used to make you happy, and chasing those things, really taking your inner child by the hand and running alongside with your childhood self, doing the things and listening to your childhood self that may have not have been listened to or taken seriously, back then also. And, being able to hold your boundaries with others so that there will not be any more pain. And I'm not saying there will not be pain, because, everything is cyclical, and, as we're able to feel happiness and joy and enjoy life, there is also pain, and then there's also suffering, and as well as there is death. So everything has to come in balance, and you will be having that balance between the masculine and the feminine energy and enlightenment. You will be receiving information, intuitive hits, because we have birds here, a bird there, a bird there. Is there any more birds? Is there any more birds? No, but I feel like some of you have really traveled. I mean, it could be that you've traveled the world, but I mean, like, really have had to go through life, and that has served you in gaining the perspective that you have now. And a lot of it has to do with you having to put in the work, and at the same time how you can develop and hone in your psychic skill is by you showing up for yourself every single time, showing up, following your passions, doing what makes you happy, showing up, and standing up for what you believe in and holding your boundaries firm, as well as strategizing and seeing how you fit into the world and what you decide is your role in this world as well. What role you play in this world and how you're going to go about accomplishing those things, how you can manifest those things as well, and how you can travel about the world doing so for some of you as well. In the past, it could have been that some of you used to charge forth into things, but now you're being asked to slow yourself down, because it could have been they used to charge into situations without having an entire plan. And with the Three of Wands here and the spiritual insight of the Queen of Swords is someone who is also analytical, and the King of Swords, someone who really looks at things and makes a concise decision and strategizes how they can get to their destination with the least amount of pushback or stress, in a sense. Whereas before, when you used to charge into things without having a plan, they could have been disruptive in your situation, or very based on material things versus spiritual things that would kind of bind you down. It could have been that there have been situations where you got yourself entangled in some kind of third party situation, and that caused you to have issues as well, and may have delayed you from actually being in your Empress energy, which the Empress energy is pretty much one that is fertile. It's an energy that anything you can touch can turn into gold. Anything that you foster and nurture can grow and develop into something amazing and great. And yeah, you're really being called and asked to chase after your passions, chase after the opportunities that you truly desire, that come from the place of your heart, come from a good place, from your highest, greatest, most wonderful intention that we have. And I know some people say, oh, but I don't know how to identify these. Yes, we all do. Innately, we all do. The only thing is that we confuse ourselves into thinking, is this really us, or am I being influenced? While this is a good thing to ask yourself too, it is good to know where your heart truly lies. And knowing yourself is very important. And if you can't decide, or you have trouble figuring out, whether you should go for something or not, the best thing that I'm seeing is Spirit is guiding me to tell you to make a list, pros and cons. Weigh out the options and decide whether those things are something that will benefit you and those around you, but most of all, benefit in fulfilling a very special part of your soul. Or is it something that is short-term, trivial, and may not do much for you in the long run? You need to do things and approach things with love. It is through love as well. And it's so funny because psilocybin or magic mushrooms, if you don't go in with a good perspective or with love and trust for the knowledge the medicine has to offer, you're gonna have a bad trip. So that's really important. And that just goes for everything. If you go into things without a well thought out plan, and you go into certain things that, you may be dragging your feet to do, or dragging along just to kind of get by, or doing things because it's material based or ego based or based in the carnal flesh, lustful things, whatever. They may satisfy you for the moment, but those things never last. They're not based on foundation. They're not based on something that is more permanent. And it is very it's very important to have and set things into foundations for yourself that are going to be more permanent, and that requires you to strategize so that you can manifest with 333. So you may be drawn also to synchronizations, or you'll be getting messages, divine intuitive hits through also synchronistic numbers or synchronistic symbols, or something that somebody may mention. The way that spirit is going to help you hone in those skills is by having you listen or pay attention to certain key things that may catch your attention. What's the word? I guess acoustically, verbally, whatever. You may hear messages through music, through way of conversation of others. You may receive information as you're walking down the street, and you hear something that somebody may shout out, or just some random stuff, something that you may hear. But I hear some of you may be clairaudient, and you're being asked to pay attention to those things, or when something catches your attention like that, or draws you in, to research it, look it up. Try to find the information as to why you're being drawn to those things. Chase that knowledge, chase that intuitive thought. Just got a notification, so I know that's right. And you'll be able to manifest everything when you go into things with a perspective of love, a higher perspective, a perspective that is not just self-serving, but also by way of serving your environment as well, or humanity in some kind of way. But don't forget to take care of yourself as well, which is very important. And being so and doing so is going to allow you to come into this Queen of Pentacles energy, which is great stability, have everything around you growing, have the structures, the finances, the home, the nurture, the loving, everything that you're looking to manifest. But it goes back to you not resisting, not turning away, or not keeping yourself blind, or in a sense binding your ears to the truth. And most of all, your truth, your own truth, the truth of who you are, and the truth of what makes you happy, and the truth of where your heart truly lies, where your spirit truly lies, and the things that fill you and fulfill that inside of you as well. In the past, it could have been you took some losses, but you may have lost the battle, but you're going to win the war. So you have the upper hand in this situation. You have the upper hand in developing and honing in your psychic skills and abilities. But it all comes down to your perspective and listening, paying attention to that. Being more well thought out for some of you, it could be that you just need a little bit more time to reflect. Or some of you just need a bit of downtime, because it could be that you may be very busy, or somebody that overworks a little bit in a sense, or very bound by logical stuff, that when you do lay to rest or you do take a break, you should take that time to unwind, and that's when you'll be receiving most of your intuitive hits, if not see synchronicities or hear those things. Because it could be that you have you're clairaudient and or claircognizant at the same time, or clairvoyant, so with maybe even mediumistic abilities. So it could be a blend. Yeah. Is there anything else, Spirit? I heard look below. Yeah. Some of you guys need to let go. Let the tower that you used to think, or let the foundations you used to think were once firm go, because they truly were not serving you for anything. And this was just a stepping stone to project you into, or shift you into, your abilities, being able to really hone in into your abilities. But it all comes down to you allowing yourself to not, I guess, maybe escape the perspective that you have that could be holding you back. If you change the perspective of your world, the world changes around you. But yeah, that's pretty much it for you, pile 4. If you like this reading, like, share, subscribe. If you want a personal reading, feel free to book me. Check out my website. I'll be posting some new goodies on there too. I'll be putting up some crystal pendants and jewelry up on my website soon, as well as some other crystal and some crystal items that will help you raise your frequencies, vibrations, and kind of help keep you a little bit more at ease as well too. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you today. Pile 4, I'm sending you a great big hug. A great big hug. And lots of love. You got this. You're strong. You're almost there. And when you do, you'll be surprised of how intuitive you are. But yeah. Well, see you next time, Pile 4. Bye.